Well, they don't know what they're waiting for, and they're wondering what's going to happen to them because they don't know what God would have them to do. So we're talking about what might be somebody's burning bush. Okay. So we went from there, and Courtney was saying sometimes something might get my attention. A burning bush is something that gets your attention to let you know that God is trying to talk to you, tell you something. So my question to her was, what is your burning bush? Or what might be someone's burning bush?
Might your burning bush have to be something like, just about impossible, but definitely unlikely?
Possibly, yes. So she said she's driving in the car, and all of a sudden she hears a voice coming on the radio, and she knows, you know what I'm saying? Just driving, and it's like, hi, Courtney, I've been trying to get your attention. Yeah, you're like, like you crash, and then you smash into the
like CIA or something.
Exactly, So, I'm sorry, baby. We're not going to do that. He knows how to operate all techs. He knows how to get
awesome.
there. So, no, we're not doing that here for you. So
now you got
and he was mad too.
Get your mouse spank. Don't get your mouse spanked.
Like he had an attitude.
Right.
Yeah, that was the idea behind all the Apple technology, so that anybody can pick it up and use it.
And this one, the baby. It is true. He can absolutely work any time to get to.
And we're in what? Exodus what?
Right, Exodus chapter 4. Long and short of before we get to burning bush. Burning bush. Moses was, God got Moses' attention after he was fleeing his past. He got his attention on the side of a mountain while he went from being the son of Pharaoh to a shepherd. He goes out and he's tending the sheep, and all of a sudden he sees this bush catching on fire, but the bush is not being burned up. So it catches his attention. Now there, he's thinking, wait a minute, there's no lightning in the dry place. Often, you might get a spark or something, but there's no lightning. Here's a bush burning. Nobody started it, but the bush is not burning up. So something highly unlikely or virtually impossible. He goes to see what it is. When he makes that encounter with this burning bush, he experiences the presence of the Lord and the voice of God. God says, take off your shoes. Why?
You're on holy
ground. You're on holy ground. So it's not just any old encounter. This is clearly something that is unique. So God says, take your shoes off. Once he takes his shoes off, he says, I'm sorry. I'm going to pause the camera for a minute because somebody's leg is rolling. All right.
I feel like I'm having a burning bush moment. Is there people back there?
Yes, there's a class, a new class back there, a different class back there. So,
I feel better. I don't feel crazy anymore.
He gives him, and God gives him the law, gives him the 10 Commandments, gives him what he's supposed to do, all with this encounter at a burning bush. So my question was, what might be someone's burning bush? Give me something that God could use to get somebody's attention. An unorthodox, kind of different, crazy way, I would venture to say, to get your attention. What could happen?
Yeah, a whole lot. Yeah.
What would it take to get your attention?
To get my attention?
Yeah, from God. Thank you, Dave.
Was I saying something?
Supernatural.
Yeah, something different now.
No. There's a show that we watch called Supernatural.
It would have to be something that level.
Supernatural?
No, the show that we watch is called Supernatural.
All right, like what?
And season 4 and 5, a lot of times it's these two guys who walk around fighting monsters.
Wow.
And by season 3 they're fighting demons. By season 4 they encounter their first angel, this dude named Castiel.
Is this real?
No, it's a TV show.
It's just a TV show.
It's made up, but it's heavily biblically influenced.
I'm sure.
It's influenced by all these different kinds of folklore, monsters and stuff.
Okay.
And by season 4 and 5, they get into angels and demons, and they are what's happening in season 5 is they're getting ready for this big fight between Satan and Michael.
All right.
And there's all these seals have been broken, and there's these revelations and all this stuff is going on. And so the angels are just coming down out of the woodwork, coming to people. There's this prophet dude who's been writing these guys' story, and they're supposed to be this new part of the Bible.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it gets in there. But Castiel is this angel that in most of the episodes in season 4 and 5. And he just appears, just
out of nowhere.
They'll be just talking to each other in this shut up room somewhere, and you'll hear the flapping of wings, and all of a sudden Castiel's there.
Wow, okay.
They'll be in the car driving, and next thing you'll hear the
flapping of wings, and Castiel's next to them.
The flapping of wings.
Yeah.
That would get my attention, the flapping of wings.
When you're in the car?
Yeah, that's really
It's just a person who appears.
Oh, okay.
Just out of nowhere.
So, possibly...
Something like that.
Appearance
You just
of...
be OC with yours, man.
Appearance of what, angels?
Yeah.
Angels
Don't
or
want a
demons?
demon. don't want the demon.
No, I don't want that.
They show up too.
I'm good.
You understand?
I would say a child.
Okay,
child.
like what? Tell me, explain that.
You say child or challenge?
A child. A child.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like, I know for myself, for testimony, during testimony service, like, sometimes when they get up and they say certain things,
yes.
it's like powerful.
That's the truth. Innocent children. Sometimes they say things that are children, that are profound. It's profound. And they're just saying it the way they feel it. And sometimes God will use a child. He'll use the unlikely to happen. Now there's an example of this prophet, this so-called prophet in the Bible. His name is Balaam. Balaam is riding, and Balak, this king who wants to defeat Israel. Israel's been wiping people out, right? So he's saying, and everybody who tries to come against them with physical force, they get smashed. So Balak, the king, knows. He said, wait a minute, I can't get them the traditional way. I know they're highly religious. Let me curse them, and if I put a curse on them, then maybe I can get into their head, and I can pretty much defeat them. Well, he goes and gets this prophet, this sorcerer, and says, hey, I'll give you some money, I'll give you some clothes.
He's the guy to talk to the donkey, right?
Yes, I need you to go and curse these people for me. First, he was like, no, I'm not going. Then he was like, I need you to do this. So, long and short of it, he went back, God told me no. Listen, I'll give you so-and-so. Came back, God told me no. Third time, God says, okay, go with him. Tell him okay. So, he gets on because this kind of sorcerer, he's a prophet. He operates like a prophet, but he does stuff for money. Yeah. Like a lot of preachers, unfortunately. Yeah. Not the real deal. You know what I'm saying? The real deal is the real deal, but you can always tell, right? So he said, okay, well, I'll go this time. But God says, when you go, though, you got to say exactly what I tell you to say. Okay, and this, even though he's a sorcerer, he knows that God is the real God. Like a lot of church people, we know what's right, but we still do other things. You know what I'm saying? We still supplement what God says with what our friends say, what our best, or what. Remember the lady Chloe used to tell people, read people poems. The saints was calling. You remember? The saints was calling.
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
Cleo.
Cleo. Call me for your free.
Cleo.
I remember that.
Yeah. People running up their bills.
For a minute, she was owning the airwaves. Like,
Until she got sued.
She had people on there.
And then
She had Florida Evans on there. Everybody. Dionne
Warwick was on
there.
there.
She had the stars, and people were showing up to get their palms read and telling you, and she was reading tarot and giving people their whatever, right? So sometimes the saints be supplementing. They shouldn't, but they do. Well, he goes, and on his way, he's riding a donkey. Donkey sees, now Balaam can't see, but the donkey sees an angel standing in the way with a sword. So the donkey sees it, he starts walking aside. So
You're like, wait a minute.
he hits the donkey, brings him back in. He keeps going. Donkey's really not feeling this. He's not happy about this. So he walks. So he starts pulling back. He doesn't want to go because the angel's like, "Come on, shing." Donkey. He hits the donkey again. Then he goes between this narrow wall. And he's still coming. He's prodding the donkey. The donkey is not having it, but he's between this thin wall. So the donkey accidentally crushes the man's leg. Like, so he gets mad. He starts beating the donkey. The donkey, the Bible says, turns around and says, why are you hitting me like this? The donkey turns around.
The donkey turned around and started talking.
But then what's mad is, he said, because you crushed my leg. Okay.
Why you hitting
That's supernatural. That's a burning bush. The donkey said, Joe, what? Can you not hit? Don't you see this? And then the Bible says that God opened up Balaam's eyes and he saw the angel in the way with his sword drawn.
That is mad funny.
And then he realized that by the time he got to Israel, the Bible says when he opened his mouth to what Balak thought he was going to curse him, he opened his mouth and he spoke a blessing over God's people. And Balak was like, what are you doing? He says, I can't curse who God has blessed. God has blessed these people. You see what I'm saying? The donkey was the burning bush. Peter, you remember Peter? Peter, when he denies Christ, God, Peter, do you love me? Yes, I love you so much, God, I love you. Okay, you know what? I never leave you. Listen, guys, I have to be crucified. They are going to kill me. They're coming to get me. No, you're not. No, they're not. They're not going to come again. Peter, stop. No, they're not. Satan, get behind me, because this ain't even Peter anymore. Devil, you try to mess me up. Because Jesus is in the flesh, and, he already praying God if there's any other way. He's saying there's another way. But he says, no, Peter. No, you won't. I promise you, I love you. I'll go down for you. He looks at Peter and says, Peter, before the cock crows 3 times, twice, before he crows twice, he's going to deny you 3 times.
He's pretty much like, you ain't real.
Sure enough. Hey, aren't you one of the guys? No, I don't know Jesus. Jesus is arrested.
No, I don't know that
He's
man.
being beaten. Hey, you were with him. No, I wasn't.
Chill.
And then he goes to them. And then he goes somewhere. Wait a minute, yeah, this is somebody who's with him.
Talk like him.
I said.
No, it wasn't.
He's standing outside in the court watching Jesus get pummeled. He's out there warming himself by the fire. Man, hey, I made little girl come back. Aren't you wanna? You even talk like those people, yeah? I said. And by the time he finished cussing, Bible says when Peter realized what had happened, he ran and he wept sore. Coming in. He ran, hey y'all, what's that? He ran and he wept sore. So that rooster was his burning bush. That was something supernatural that God got his attention. Like, see, you thought you were committed, but you're not as committed as you thought you were. But then the Bible is so faithful because Jesus comes right back around and asks him 3 times, Peter, do you love me? Yes, I love you. Peter, he said, feed my sheep. Peter, do you love? Yes. Feed my lamb. Peter. Yes, Jesus. Yes. Do you love me? Yes, I told you I did. Feed my sheep. Now, instead of Peter being guilty about what had happened, God had given him an opportunity. He denied him 3 times. God gives him an opportunity to restore him 3 times because he asks him 3 times. And that's how Jesus is. He'll do something to get our attention, but when that happens, even if it's not the most pleasant experience, God will come back and say, listen, I got you. All right? So what might be some other burning bushes that might get your attention?
I guess my burning bush, would have been my kidney issues.
So physical ailments or physical issue. Sickness. Some people don't stop sleeping with other people until they get HIV.
Chill. Alright, whoa there.
It's like this guy I heard about on on Facebook, you get a random news.
Yes.
And there's this dude who raped this woman and got HIV.
See, that's what you get. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but see, that's what you
No,
get.
that is what he get.
That's what we said outside. That's what you get. That's what you get. Boy, skip party. I told you about this skip party at school. He didn't know. She goes to the skip party with the guy. They have a big old skip party. She goes there. Guy takes advantage of her, rapes her at the skip party while they're off campus. So that's what you get. Both of y'all didn't do right, but it's not right. He rapes her. He doesn't realize her grandfather raped her and gave her HIV. That's middle school.
Oh man.
That ain't even high school. That's middle school. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Sat down, Carl.
She didn't realize that her grandfather had been raped. He didn't realize that her grandfather had been raping her, gave her HIV, and she was gorgeous, beautiful little girl. Exotic. She was already exotic. We call it exotica. She was already exotica. And I mean, deep dimples, Hispanic girl. Jet black, beautiful, thick hair, beautiful skin, bad girl. He raped her, but he got what he bargained for. So hopefully he changes his ways, because some people don't. Physical sickness can do it. Some people don't really seek God until they're on their deathbed. Ain't that right? Don't wait, because you don't know how long you got.
Front, I'm tired.
You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
You say, oh yeah, I'll just wait until I'm 32. I'll wait until I'm whatever. Don't wait. Because sometimes when physical sickness is here in your body, especially because black people are plagued by by all kinds of diseases. We don't go to the doctor unless something chasing us. You know that. It's got to be bleeding, broken. We don't go to the doctor unless something is chasing us. The doctor got to say we have diabetes before we.
Are you dying?
The doctor got to say we, you know what I'm saying, that our lungs are, we are operating on 20% lung capacity before we stop smoking. You know, and then chest is barreled out like this, and we blue in the face and lips blue because you didn't get no oxygen, and you still trying to light up the outside. You still shaking. Yep. You know, you got policies that you didn't do right. Y'all laughing, I'm dead serious. People don't do right until something is chasing them, and then y'all won't, God, I need you here. Okay, well, you should have put that pickle leg and that pig feet down, and then.
Wait a minute, don't come for my pig.
And I love pickle leg. I know. My mom was like, that's not healthy. It's a sitting in formaldehyde, change in color, and it's delicious. I love it. You see that?
It's like I went to church and got fat back.
Sometimes we don't. Something so physical. It's physical illness might be one. What else? Give me some other burning bushes. This is good. This is never as long. This is good. Some other burning bushes.
The earthquake, like 2 years ago.
Earthquake. Saints was people was running. Saints was still alive. On the street. The earthquake a couple of years ago.
I was at Meg's house and I was holding her cat and I was like,
the earthquake.
and he looked at me like, if you don't go outside.
So what do you do when you feel the earth shaking up underneath, especially church people? We know Jesus coming, but we never food. And then when the earth starts shaking, that earthquake, any natural disasters, everybody floods the church.
But especially here and that earthquake.
Oh, believe that.
It ain't supposed to happen, but
I was wrong.
I was in college park, I was everybody trying to call. I was like,
No, I got left.
that's the first thing I did too. Elaine Sewell is getting raptured.
We both did the same thing. We both called. I called my grandmother. That's his mother. We called, and I'm like, Granny, you still on the planet?
I thought you want to know. Look,
because I know that day I'd have got left in my cousin. I was
you don't have to
born.
tell my call. I just see him at church. Just checking on him.
It's not serious now. Not serious.
Right. People are, because we know Jesus is coming back, but we don't live like Jesus is coming back. So when things do happen, it's like, whoa. I mean, I was with kids, with my students, so everybody was hollering. I'm working with the top ones like, and everyone's like,
yep, exactly.
somebody went off the wall. Are you ready to see? Let's get it together. Because that's what it's all about. That could be a burning bush. Physical sickness and natural I'm going to put natural disasters in anything. Natural. And it was natural disasters because even the insurance calls them acts of God. Acts of God. So when we see something happening that is bigger than us or things that we can't control, those things tend to be, you're right. Those things tend to be our burning bush. What else? Is there anything else? Because sometimes,
earlier you said unlikely people.
Yes.
Like when, like I could be trying to encourage a friend that may not necessarily have a relationship with God. And then, like you ever heard somebody say it's hard to minister to yourself the way you do to other people when you're going through it. So like I'll be going through something and then it'll come full circle.
Yes. And then you gotta talk to yourself and use your own words.
Yeah, and they'll be like, well, remember when you was telling me XYZ? Well,
Yeah, like I told you yesterday.
And that show brings he was trying to call you name. But that's what happens. It's sometimes people gotta give you your own stuff back. Preachers do that all the time. You'll be preaching, and God said, as soon as something happens, bill people call, you better give us our money because we're gonna shut that down. We're gonna cut your lights out. What are you gonna do? You know, and then like you just be fake on Sunday. You know, and that especially when it hits unexpectedly. Anything that happens suddenly, sometimes you go blank. They called and told me my daughter had cancer. When Children's Hospital called me and said, you know, let me just tell you right now, you need to come up here and get some more blood work.
Excuse me?
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What? Who is this?
This ain't funny.
Yeah, the last physical before school. Mm-hmm. We noticed some things, and you need to come down here immediately because we have to put on this regime and do all this stuff. When you tell me that all this good preaching and all this singing, thank you, Stinky Dan. Yes, here, you want to hold it?
You can't say the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Like I understand it the first time.
He's letting you know.
Then I get it. So when you tell me that, I'm like, okay, well, and I have to listen to the whole. Okay, we're gonna, you need to come in because we need to sit down. We need to have a meeting. We need to make some decisions. And I had the phone. You step back for a minute, like, are you serious? And then it hits you, and it's like, you know, what do? Do you accept it? What do you do? And you have to decide at that moment. Am I going to listen to the voice of the Lord, or am I going to do what my flesh is telling me to do? And sometimes those two things, almost all the time, those two things are different.
My class.
You see? So you have to figure it out.